And we're super excited to see y'all on this beautiful Sunday. Thank you for those who moved over from Wednesday with us. I know we switched it up on y'all this week, but we thought this would just add some consistency in everything that we're doing. And we're also coming off of an amazing event last Sunday where we talked about the nature of the construct. Super grateful for everyone who came out.
We had some good questions too, didn't
It
we?
was good.
That was great.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
for sure.
It was really good. Yeah. So for those of you who made it, we really appreciate you. We appreciate the energy you brought. And we are going to kind of transition our next event going off of what we talked about with the nature of the construct. And we're now moving into the astral, right? And the question that came up for us this week, which we're actually going to use as the title of the event, is basically is entering the astral realm, exiting the matrix, which is a question that can be up for debate, right? I'm so interested to see where everyone takes this. So with that in mind, we will be here every Sunday. And directly after these live live YouTube events, we have a Zoom room set up for those who are registered for the event. And we're calling these the pre-event integration sessions, where we're just going to answer questions. We're going to go in deeper every week, and that will lead us up to the event. If you can't make the event, but you do want to attend one of these Zoom integration sessions afterwards, we have set them up so you can sign up for them individually. I believe that is in the chat and in the description. So if you are loving this conversation and want to continue for like another half hour or so with us after this, you are welcome to join us there. And with that, I will open it up to the floor.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
So the Matrix.
Spooky
Yeah.
word.
You know, right?
The spooky word. Yeah.
Well, first of all, whatever you saw in the movie, that's kind of like it's not really reflecting what it really is. It's kind of bringing the idea that we've been manipulated into belief that we're in a reality, although we realize in the movie basically they're all dreaming. It's so that would equate to this reality being the dream, right?
Yeah, like a big dream group project. Everybody loves group project. You guys like group project? I love group. They're my favorite. I hate group projects.
So that would mean that we need to define what the matrix is. You know, now the astral, we understand the astral as leaving your body and going beyond the veil, but that it's one part of it. It's not even everything, right? It's within the construct. Now, in your eyes, I mean, blessed Shem, what's the matrix like?
In my mind, okay, I'm going to refer back to the movie, because that's kind of where we got the first concept or the name of it. Well, that's when it was first introduced to me. I always thought, okay, Neo, yeah, kick ass, you woke up, blah, blah, blah. But I just felt like, gosh, the other side there looked so just like horrible. It looked like the worst old airplane cabin in the world. And it looked like the food was nasty and the toilets weren't ever really clean to perfection. And there was no inner decor whatsoever. And I thought, yeah, I get why people are going back to this other place, because this place's decor is not up to scratch. You'll obviously haven't catered here for any toilet paper. You know those places where you're like, is there any toilet paper left? Like, it just looked like a place you don't want to go to. And they seemed
I've been
like
in those
they
gas
had
station bathrooms before. Yeah.
That was it. Gas station bathroom energy. That's what it looked like when they actually pulled the plug out. And I said, yeah, okay, so it's all fair and well. Now you know the truth. But I feel somehow this is still like a step down. So it was like, that was my quarrel with the film. I was like, I get it. I accept that part of it. but that part looks shit and I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
So
It's
What
like
you're
the
not talking about?
Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to just quickly mention you're not talking about the GUI pods.
that let's not even talk about the GUI pods. Let's talk about the rescue, and then we're
Right.
finally gonna take you home, and then they pull up at this desolate place. I said, "Oh snap!
Yeah.
This is worse than the Lost Place." Yeah,
It's like it's that Hollywood twist, right? No matter what. I mean, you could look at like Cloud Atlas as an example of like reincarnation too. And then you got The Matrix, of course, as we're speaking of. But I only point out another movie that's kind of related to the same concepts, because no matter the movie, whether it's The Matrix, whether it's Cloud Atlas, whether it's something else, there's always distortions in it that are placed there by the people making the movie to make where you're at right now seem better than whatever else it is, right? Like there's a subtle pull in suggestions placed on you throughout the movie just by consuming it that are telling you this is the best place, stay here, like, you know, be in this hellhole for another 6 incarnations or whatever, you know. I really, that was my initial impression once I started entering into an awakening space. I'd say, looking back on those movies, like, you know, it was just like, man, everything was just trying to make it seem like this is it and everything else sucks, but it's like the opposite.
Yeah.
Being a little facetious, but yeah.
But yeah. Basically, what was your take on it? Did you feel
on the Matrix?
No, because when it was posed to me, not only did I reject it on like an idealistic level, on a soul level, I was like, nope, that can't be true.
For me, the Matrix, honestly, for me, the way it's just describing the inside of a computer. You're only describing the inside of a computer. You didn't stretch yourself. That's what I thought.
You know, I might be wrong, Amundi. Now, I've only done this for since 2002, up until about a year ago. So however long that is, but you know, I have yet to find the goo pod in the computer. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's not there. Maybe one day I'll find the goo pod.
You're damn right. You're right. But to your point though, these NPC looking software viruses or whatever, the idea that they put in the Matrix movie and how it functions, and these numbers, you know, referring to the coding 1 and 0s, I'm like, yes but no. And when I saw it, it was entertaining for the fact that it just was showing a light on what reality could be or may not be. So it was more that for me. Now, as far as the other side being the world they presented, no, I just didn't resonate with that part. And I was like, why should I be Neo and then go to the shithole? What's the point? Like, I was like, no, you're not selling that to me enough. So no. But in terms of the Matrix now, what we're referring to the Matrix, this structure of control, really. I think that's what most people are referring to. Do you guys feel like when you have an out of body experience, or you ramming the astral, you are exiting it? Because it's really, or do you feel like this is just an extension of it? See that we mentioned the construct often. So what's your view on this, guys? Girls.
You want to hear?
Girl.
No, I get it. Listen, my dad had 2 girls and called us both guys for all
It's
of
a very
our
English
lives.
thing to say, anyway.
I'm not offended. Yeah, Tom hit on something, and it's basically like, if you think it's going to be a trap, then it's going to be a trap. Which is the trap? It's the mental trap. It's the mind limiting consciousness, which is like totally opposite of God consciousness, which is the knowing that you are the ultimate creator, and then just going for it, just saying, all right then, well, I'm out of this shithole and I'm going to get something with better toilet services. It's that type of thing. So that was my part of the rejection of that side of the movie. Because like we said, like, you still have to, like what Bless was saying as well, they still have to find a way to thread some sort of fear and dystopia into
Right.
a
They can't just give you the
relatively
truth. That'd be too easy, right? So
Yeah, of course.
no, we don't want to do that. So there's that. But to your piece about whether I've like if on a personal level, if that's what I've experienced, my answer would be no. My answer would be it's nothing like that, to the point where I don't. It's hard to be able to put into words because there's no reference here to that.
Yeah, I think you know what is. I think what most of the people are probably wondering is, are we responding to a programmed version of ourselves once you're in the astral?
Sometimes you do.
And then obviously we determine the construct as basically being all within the construct, and then there's outside of the construct. And I guess this is where the question is as well. It's like, well, okay, do I actually leave the matrix if I'm in the astral, or is the astral still a part of the matrix and is running this current matrix we're in? So I think,
well, in my experience to that, when I have gone through experiences of people gatekeeping, and that's like, you can't go through this portal unless you da 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 da, da, and then you go and you're like, okay. Or the first time you see an angel and you're like, back to the Bible, you have wings, so I'll listen to everything you say. And then you realize, no, dickhead. And then you're like, I'll move on from there. And then you realize how much layers you've just taken on. And you're like, I don't think I'm quite there yet. I don't think I've quite got out of that. Because then once you finally do get out of it, there's no comparison. Like, we say freedom here. We say don't worry here. Like, that is like the tip of the iceberg to even going one step into explaining what you experience when you truly are out of what this is.
Yeah, I think and I want to know what you think as well, Blessed. I think that many people, not many people, I'm not gonna say that. I mean, some people cross over, so they're not gonna come back. But I know that they are playing out the life they couldn't experience here on a realm that's pretty close to here, the astral realm, but part of it that's seemingly very, very close. There's cities, and they it's basically that's where most of us go and dream. It's not far off. Which would mean that some of them don't realize even that's what's taking place. They didn't even realize they crossed over for some of them.
Reminds me
and
a
some
lot
of them,
sorry. It reminds me a lot of the concept of like lost souls, like as a concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, though they feel at home and they don't know they're lost.
Some don't
certainly
feel okay about it. Like,
right.
Not uncomfortable.
I certainly couldn't speak from experience on this one. I could only speak from things I've read and learned throughout my own journey. So in my understanding thus far, there are people that get lost in the sauce a bit to the point where, like, there's a reason that guides exist. There's a reason that there are people there to help, souls there to help you transition, because in a lot of cases people can get kind of obsessive about things. That's where people talk about like ghosts or something like that. As far as I'm aware, that's just like an energy signature of a very focused obsessive behavior, I guess you could say. Like somebody was just, they left their mark there. As far as the physical is concerned, like here, meat land, whatever you want to call it. The like just beyond here, especially through like the works of Jane Roberts, Seth brought this up quite a bit. There is a transitional area. I don't know. We brought up movies like The Matrix, for example. I don't know if any of you have seen an older movie. I believe it's from the mid 90s, somewhere in the 90s, I think, but it's called Defending Your Life. And something like that. If you've seen it, then you would know. But as a quick, briefing, a dude dies and goes to kind of an intermediary plain, I guess you could say. It's not described that way in the movie, but I mean, if you know, you know. And it's very comfortable looking. Like it still looks like here. You know, it's got the features of here, while people gently figure out, hey, you're dead. Uh, so, so yeah, I could see how if you were to extrapolate this out to, say, entities with a vested interest in ensuring you come back here, which I don't believe any of this happens anymore given the point of the game we're at. Let's say this stuff is old news now, guys, so don't use this as, I'm not looking to put anybody in a place of fear. I don't think this happens anymore at all. And even if it does, you know what you know now, right? So
Yeah.
arm yourself with the truth versus be
Mhm.
afraid, right? But you there were vested interests in making sure that you came back here again and did this again. And yeah, so you could say in that way, as pointed out in the chat a little bit there, like no matter what the entity is, and I guess this is the bottom line to it all, it doesn't matter what anybody else tells you or says or tries to get you to do or anything like that. You can't be forced to do anything that you don't agree to do. And in most cases, when we're putting ourselves in these little cages, as pointed out in the chat there, like you're fashioning your own cage, you're hopping in, you're slamming the door and locking it, and then you're wondering where the key is, even though it's like dangling around your wrist or neck. So yeah, that's the whole idea of a matrix, the whole idea of any control structures whatsoever. You have to believe they work for them to do anything to you. I know what it looks like here, but that's my understanding. So I have not had any personal experiences out of body to contest to that one way or the other, but it sounds like it resonates. So I got to put some stock in that.
What about in-body ones for you? Because even though we might not have out-of-body experiences, we've all interfaced with this matrix here. Like, did it hit you in your face? What was the day that you were like, you know what? Something freaking stinks here. There's something up. What was the day like you
like
kind
that
of
it really just hit me in the face?
Yeah.
Like my whole life I felt like a stranger in a strange land in the first place, but won't go into that one. That's a whole other can of worms. But like when I really realized, it was like, oh God, I knew it the whole time. I knew it. This place is so screwed up. Like that moment, honestly, probably happened around the time that the first Matrix movie came out. It left quite an impression on me when I first saw it. So yeah, because it was just like, to say it resonated is kind of, I don't know, resonating is like kind of I don't want to say it's a buzzword, but it's like we use it so much that it kind of loses its luster. I wish I had a better word for it. I was a buzz with it. Because it was, yeah, that something in that movie was like, yeah, that clicks a lot more. So yeah.
Et toi?
Yeah, intermediary plane, like you say, yes, it is there. This is where we all go and dream, and we go there, we visit there, we see some people we once knew. I had an experience where so my grandmother, and I wasn't close to her at all, and the reason why I knew that was what was taking place. She was trying to re-experience certain things she couldn't. I never in my life experienced in dream state whatsoever, lucid dream, anything like that, out of body experience. Never. I'm not connected to her at all. But for some reason, that time, and then I realized, oh, I'm out of my body because she gave me a hug, and I felt that hug. Not that I wanted to be there, but I realized then and there that she was trying to relieve that life she couldn't. So that was she was willingly doing it. Some people cross over. This is a very known thing. They just don't realize they've crossed over. That's another story. But there is definitely these spaces there that are created, and I think that partly coming out of the matrix and expecting to go beyond the veil and coming out of the matrix, then it doesn't necessarily work like that. I think that you have to come out of it here, because you ultimately, if you're under enough distortion, will project that distortion, whatever your perception is, you'll project on the other side. Plus, it's pretty immediate. You really create anything immediately. So I think even if there is the idea of control on the other side, I would say that the way to override that is to let go of certain beliefs you have here anyway. And most of the control on the other side, it's to control over here anyway. So either way you're looking at it, you'll have to do the work here while you're here anyway. That's what I would say.
Well,
What do you
did
think?
you have a one wake up call where you were like, this sucks?
Yeah.
Well, not more than this sucks. The same question I asked Blessed.
One particular wake up call.
Yeah, because we got
now-
Stephanie's one there.
I tell you straight. No, for me, from a young age, I was in a foster family. I was already different from the start. I didn't have my parents to raise me, so it was already things felt different from the get. So every time I remember when it was Mother's Day, I was like, don't got nobody to wish you happy Mother's Day to. So that settled it anyway from the start. I already felt so different to the point I asked myself for a long time, why is my life looking like that? Like, what's going on? So by default, no, it didn't happen. For me, it was from the start.
So you came in on the burning trash type of thing. You
Oh
were
yeah,
okay.
yeah. That's right.
Understood.
I was seeing, you know, and it's funny because I was seeing like people's lives passing me by like they were doing their thing, and I felt like I don't get to do my thing. What's going on? So that alone. So I think many people, if they really look back, probably through certain trauma or hardship in their life, they probably already realized this shit is fixed already. So yeah.
Can I share something?
Of course.
Because when we were talking about the Matrix, one thing that reminded me of, I read somewhere where they were talking about the Matrix as the matrix of form. So basically, it's how we assign physicality or tangible, like something you can touch and experience to what we're going through. And when I think about my out of body experiences, is how physical and tangible they feel, and how it doesn't feel any different than this. So it's that same, if you're thinking of it as like this form of light or whatever, the matrix is just the filter you've put on something. It almost feels like it's everywhere that has light and form and function, versus when you're outside of the construct, or you're completely outside and you're just kind of in that dark space of everything or nothing. I don't know what to call it, but when you're
like
in
a limitation placed on just so you can even have an experience in the first place,
you can
since your default state's awareness.
yeah,
right?
so it's like if you're always in a matrix of something, make it the matrix of your own creation. And that's where I think your manifestations come in, because it's like, okay, and then let me now shape this form to be the form that I want to interact with or I want to be inside of. But it's always there. And then maybe in the astral realm, they just have access to reshaping it easier or whatever, like more directly, like they remember how to do that, or we remember how to do that when we're on that side.
You make a great point.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I think I was asked a question about love and light the other day, and while there was a lot of transitioning through New Age beliefs, teachers, mentors, and all that, on my way to kind of just like piecing some of this stuff together, I wouldn't throw everything out at all, but then experiencing and then also hearing other people's experiences of the void, this place that you're talking about, of that base creation that is like, I guess, matrix free.
Right. Yeah.
It made me rethink what are we saying when we say that then, because this seems like an integral part of that. But so it's that, not that I don't understand why it's said. It's just now I'm like, yeah, but this is not a bad thing.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a bad thing.
It doesn't have to be a bad thing, though.
Yeah.
Though I get the other thing, it doesn't have to be a bad thing.
Yeah, in order to have
see it like that.
Yeah, in order to have an experience, even you need to like you could really equate any experience, at least in at this level to like a game, any experience you could have. What do games have? They have a set of rules for limitations. These are the rules you have to follow if you want to play the game. Otherwise, you're not playing the game anymore, right? Like experiences, especially like this one, like you're set up with a rule set, and you've got lots of play within that rule set. But it's as Tom Rua, as Tom was pointing out in chat, even it's a set of limitations. It's
Right.
because otherwise, in your default state, it's like I don't know if you guys have ever played, some silly video, like if you're playing Minecraft on creative mode or something, like it kind of loses its luster after a little while because you don't have there's nothing like what's the point if I have access to all the things all the time? This is kind of boring. Unless you're making giant works of art and all that. Kind of a scuffed example, maybe. But
No,
I'd
no.
imagine when you're in a state of pure awareness, like I've heard of the bliss and all of that. People like David Ebel. I see Tom, you mentioned you had a near death in the chat there, so you may have experienced that as well. And I've heard of several others, of course. Yeah, I guess it boils down to that idea of I am, right? And where do you go from there? Well, who am I, or what does that mean? And then you learn every last possible way that you can learn what that even is. So you'd have to have limitations in order to do that. Otherwise, it would be terribly boring, I'd imagine. So, yeah.
I was going to say something about what you just said, but I had the time where I went through I had the time when I went through this situation where I was like, okay, well, that just don't make sense. So why would we do that? And my conclusion was that I said, well, yeah, because otherwise we would be bored. But I then understood then that I did not understand what being infinite is. And I began to realize that boredom, limitation, all this terminology we use doesn't exist, and it does at the same time when you're your full self, your full authentic self. So we only perceive boredom because we fail to explain what it is we are looking for. So in actual fact, you don't experience none of that, but you do only if you put yourself in a sense of limitation. So the idea behind boredom, it's because we can't fathom what would be the reason why you would leave such an amazing, blissful place. And that is a part of where I understood as well. This is what the whole point of unconditional love is, and the understanding of it. Even though you in that bliss, you're never in lack or missing out if you let go of it for a while, because this is essentially what that experience is. And then I began to realize that basically just even trying to define that is where we get lost in translation here. Because why not, unless you can really experience it in real time on earth, you hardly can explain what it is. And I used to be pissed because I was like, so you bored and you send me in the shithole. Nah, for a while, and then I had time to really reflect and calm down. But no, it's not boredom. You're not bored. That's basically the distorted view of it, version of
It's
it.
how we've conceptualized
That's
it.
how we can conceptualize through
Yeah.
distortion. Otherwise, we can't. And that even if you know that, even when I know that, and I'm trying to imagine how it feels, I find it really difficult to even get that feeling, because it's so out there. Like it
That's
has
how
no
immersed
edge.
we are.
Yeah, it has no edge. It's the infinite, literally. And so to your point as well about not put people in fear and get people not scared at all. Yeah, you're not stuck. You never were. You can't
Right.
be. If you put yourself in this game with all this limitation, how can you be stuck in the game you created in the first place? And I think it's because the notion of who created this construct, a lot of people fail to understand you're part of it.
Mhm.
Most of the people here are part of it, if not everybody. Now, I can't
Right.
speak for everyone, but I would not be surprised if it was the case.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, so we're going for about 30 minutes today, so I think we have to transition over to our
so we have.
Zoom. Yes, I know that was really quick. Just, is there any like final words y'all want to say before we make that move over?
Yeah.
Thanks
It
for
was
being
only
here.
going to spark
Thank
another.
you for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There. I'll go with that. 'cause
Yeah, I'll
my
go
one
with that
was
as
gonna
well.
Spark another half an hour conversation. So I'll just
Yeah.
throw on Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah. The juicy
we're gonna
conversation has
go-
got to be for, yeah.
All right. So anyone
we're gonna transition over.
Thank
If
you.
you want to join us, you can. If not, I mean, we're gonna take them and do something with it at some point. But
So the
it's
link
gonna
is
be a good
in the chat as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
So
believe the link is
grab
in
the
the
link,
chat.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah, it says we're gonna go at 2:30 Eastern, which was about 10 minutes ago, but we'll probably just wait 5-10 minutes and we'll just pop in the room and get started from there.
So you can
Okay.
catch us there.
Cool.
Yep, you can catch us there if you like.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.